Occupy Sheffield has taken possession of the former Salvation Army Citadel at Cross Burgess Street, Sheffield. You will now see a short video tour displaying some of the dedicated hard work that has already been completed. Occupy Sheffield has also renamed this building the Citadel of Hope.
When we first came down here, soaking wet. It was absolutely. Some water was pouring in from somewhere. There was a waterfall coming down this wall here, which we couldn't work out where that's coming from to begin with. And through here, we've got an interesting feature of the building, which is that it's open air here. So obviously we've got rain coming straight in here, and an old toilet here where somebody had stolen the cistern and just left water pouring out of that pipe up there. So we just have loads of water coming in everywhere. Right, so one of the first things we wanted to try and do was to stop the water, but we couldn't. So we had a problem trying to cap off the mains in the street, the water main in the street. So we actually had to get the water board out to shut off the main in the street, or to fit a stopcock out in the street actually, because there wasn't one. And then we could cap it off there. And then from capping off the water, to stop it from flooding the rest of the building, we then run a pipe here to the toilets upstairs. Let me see. And yeah, it started drying out ever since. So since then it's been sort of quite dry down here. Every day has been a bit drier, so we're getting there. And then I think the next thing is to show you upstairs. There's a few rooms down here which is quite interesting, but we're not using any of them for the conference. And probably not afterwards either, I don't think, at the moment. They're quite dry rooms though, and we're using them for putting stuff like metalwork and piping that we don't need anymore. So we've left the basement really alone as much as possible. Just had to stop the leak, and now we're using the, replumbed it so we've got water upstairs. So yes, that pipe that you saw in the basement comes up through here past the water cistern, the toilet cistern, and then feeds into there, and it tees off here to go to a standpipe just outside the toilet, as well as coming up to the tap here. So we've got a flushing toilet cistern and a wash hand basin, and at the moment we have a tap for just filling the water bottles so we can take them to the kitchen. But as you can see at the moment, I'm just in the process of trying to install a toilet, but at the moment that's not plumbed in, and so we're still using this pipe just to ferry water to the kitchen in big bottles. This was actually a grand piece of engineering by one of our guys here, because we didn't have a pedestal for the wash basin. But yeah, so the toilet was all exposed when we first installed it, and so just for decency's sake, some of our guys fitted this lovely partition all the way around, and one of the girls yesterday was painting these pretty stars and a little message here to remind us what's important in life. When we first came, we with all the water cascading down the stairs, there's a whole load of water coming in. First thing we thought was, let's get to the stopcock and turn it off. And this wouldn't turn at all, or it would turn, but we couldn't get it to turn off at all. There's still water spraying in everywhere. So we had to call the water board out, and they fitted a stopcock outside, like I said, and now we could turn it off, and I fitted a new seal here, and so we've got this rather makeshift tap, but it works. How long have you got? Nicely fitting door. When we got here, the electricity was all disconnected, but we've connected just one of the phases and running from this fuse box here. So we've just run three mains cables, one upstairs, they all go through here, one goes upstairs, one goes to the little lock-up room we've got along here, and the other goes to the kitchen. Okay, right, as you can see, a load of rubbish here. That's built up from loads of tireless labourers who have volunteered and come up here and cleared all the rubbish. Some of it is really disgusting because a lot of it will be pigeon crap, which was completely decorating the upstairs area.
So you're really giving this place a good tidy out? Completely,
yeah. There's a lot of dirt though, real lot of rubble and dirt. Yeah, when we first came here we used this exit. This was open here, a fire exit. And we've just been making lighting for this stairway so that we've got sort of like a nice safe exit if there's a fire or any problem upstairs. Okay, come into the kitchen. Just about all these things that we've used in the kitchen are sort of purloined. This Burco catering water heater is already here, so I've tested that, just made sure that it is safe. And we've plugged that in. We've got this water heater on the wall, which worked for a while, that seems to have died now. But we connected that up so that we've got some hot water in the building. Yeah, we've obviously set up a light up the top here, so we had no lighting in here at all.
Yeah, well, if it's domestic, it goes by the door.
And now we've got these main sockets all working on the side here.
So we're building rubber around there.
And we found a microwave. Again, we tested that, and that's working well. So it's becoming a little bit more like a home from home. Well, when we first got here, we obviously needed somewhere to sleep, so we brought a big tent, and I've used this tent ever since for caretakers to sleep in. So at the moment, it's just a sort of a caretaking tent, because we haven't got, we're not using it as a sort of a residential squat. We're using it as a sort of a political squat. So it's just for a couple of people to stay here, to stay sort of covering the building and making sure it stays safe.
What can you tell me about the floor then?
Well, obviously the building not been used for so long, and water coming in the roof. There's been severe water leaks obviously for years, and there's been damage to the floors in various places. And what we've attempted to do is make sure we've put nice big strong boarding over any of the weak areas to make it safe to walk on. But some of the areas that have got an incursion of water we've decided are not really safe, so we've sort of attempted to cordon off the areas which are really looking a bit rotten. Right, now we're upstairs, and this is quite a view, quite a vista. This is the auditorium, and it's quite grand, don't you think? I love it. I think that I've got hope that we could sort of fill this place and make good use of it before it all goes to pot. We've had to do a lot of repairs to the floor, but the main problem has been the pigeons. The pigeons completely infested this area, and this whole surface that you see now was completely covered in pigeon poo. You get some idea if you just look over here, Mark. You can see where we haven't cleaned. You can see the state of this area here. It's really mouldy and covered in pigeon poo. This is a view from the stage.
And you expect to fill this, do you?
We would love to fill this. We'd really love to fill it.
The roof was leaking quite badly, so we've gone up through the hatch up here. And there's walkways up in underneath the roof and a hatch that gets right out onto the rooftop, and it's double pitch roof into a gully, and all the drainage was all blocked up full of mud and bricks and bits of tiles, and then we've gone up into this corner that had a massive tree growing out of the wall which had separated the wall from the drainage, so we've pulled out all the tree, repaired it, concreted it back in, and it's pretty watertight now. We've still got a few more drips here and there in the rest of the building, but we're pretty much there.
This canvas yesterday was out on the roof, but it was covering the wrong area, and so we brought it down, and we're looking for another bit of tarpaulin to replace it, and they've done some felting and mixed up some sand and cement to try and remake the gully, because the gully was quite badly deteriorated.
So you're hoping to do away with the buckets eventually?
The buckets are a temporary measure at the moment. So.
You've been doing some woodwork on here as well?
Everywhere here. We've actually really had to look at every hole and work out, what the risk is for each hole and what to do. And if it's too deteriorated, we have to actually cordon it off. So yes, it's all over this whole area. We've got repairs to the woodwork and to the floor. Yeah, the smaller splits we're just repairing with quite thin, 3mm ply. These steps were quite badly deteriorated because there's a lot of water landing on them, like there is now. So we've had to sort of put some ply on all the steps here. Right, one of our first jobs was, apart from shooing the pigeons out, was keeping the pigeons out. So we had to sort of block off all the windows. There's a lot of small windows that were broken, like this. And we made up these little ply panels to put in all the holes. Right, we're now at the upper balcony. So, when we looked on the outside of the building a couple of weeks ago, we saw that there was a huge turret right above the top of the building, and we wondered if we could get to it. And mischievously, we climbed up here and came into here, looking for access to this turret. And we saw signs of it here, in this big concrete cylinder. And in here, we climbed up that bit of rope that goes into that hatch there. And you can get right up into the turret. At the moment, there's people here busy setting up. Mainly, the main group is the Invisible Circus, who are coming to do a performance here during the weekend. And they're setting up down here, down on the stage, getting all their props and stuff ready.
Right, yeah, we are the Invisible Circus. As you can see, they're not here yet. We've just come up to Sheffield to help with the Citadel of Hope and the conference weekend. We started doing some stuff up in London at the Bank of Ideas, and that led on to the courts. So we kind of came in to do sort of the Friday night cabaret thing, a bit kind of like Vera Lynn singing to the troops, so coming to sort of boost the morale of all the people in the camps as winter drew on and stuff. And then yeah, Sheffield got in touch about this space. We're really into old buildings and putting shows on old buildings, trying to revive old buildings as community spaces. So we jumped on board with this one to come and do a show for the conference and to sort of finish that off, and potentially try and get this space as a short-term community space for Sheffield. So it fits in with lots of our kind of ethos and principles of regenerating old spaces into community spaces, hands-on, artist-led, sort of activist moves, and obviously the whole ethos of the Occupy movement kind of fits with our politics. So we just want to support that really. And yeah, this is one of the ways we found to come around and sort of unify people and bring performers from different cities up together and kind of create a bit of a buzz and a sort of live show feel.